Hello and welcome to the Growing Green podcast. Your host, Jeremiah Jennings, is the owner of Growing Green Landscapes in Birmingham, Alabama, and has a passion for growing the entrepreneurship community for those who are young in business. Being a business owner isn't easy, especially in the early years, and that's why in this show we dive into a wide range of topics covering all the challenges small business owners deal with. Even if your company is generating $1 million or more, the stories from our great guest and Jeremiah's own firsthand experiences will propel your business forward. And now, here's your host, Jeremiah Jennings.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning in to the episode today here on the Growing Green podcast. This is your host, Jeremiah Jennings, and I am super excited to be coming to you today with another fresh new guest episode for you. And I'm excited. I love guest interviews. We haven't had just a one-on-one guest interview in a while, and I'm excited to have my friend and fellow partner on, Adam Fullerton with Branded Bull. How you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good, man. Good. And by fellow partner, I mean fellow entrepreneur, I guess. I should probably word that a little better. But, yeah, man, we're good. We were just discussing weather before we record. You know, Michigan weather is wild, so it seems I thought y'all were like in the middle of spring, and then boom, y'all were plowing. Saw Brian out plowing last week.
Yeah, it's funny. We were talking, like you said, and here you are saying, it gets kind of warm, gets kind of cold during the night. And so I ask you, Jeremiah, what's warm? And you say 70s. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, we're dealing with 30s and 40s. So, I'll take your warm any day of the week.
Yeah, when you said your high is 58, I'm like, no, that's a little chilly. That's too. Yeah, right. I'm still in jacket and pants for sure. I'm not breaking out the shorts yet. So
that's so funny.
I'm ready for this crap to get over. Like Come July, down here, it's miserable. I mean, it's 105 every day, but I just don't like it's so much. I would much rather choose that over 35. Like, the cold is so miserable. I hate it. I want to be in shorts and flip flops whenever I can. Like, the jeans, I despise jeans. I can't stand them.
Hey, I will tell you, the one thing about Michigan is that you don't deal with any natural disasters. Certainly, we have winter, which arguably is a natural disaster because it's terrible. Nobody likes winter. It's horrible, right? Exactly. But so our ancestors, why did they come up here? I don't understand it. It's not made for people to live in. However, we don't deal with any craziness in terms of natural disasters. True, yeah. So no flooding, for the most part, no hurricanes, no nothing crazy. So
yeah. y'all get like minimal tornadoes, don't you? Just like here and there.
And yeah, once in a blue moon, maybe. Yeah. Is there something nearby? But overall, not really. Much of a risk. Yeah. So take it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, because we don't usually get whatever part of a hurricane we're getting is just the rainfall after it hits land, and we'll get soaked for a couple of days. But now we're in Tornado Alley. Like we'll get slammed with tornadoes. It's actually today is the 3-year anniversary of a pretty the third or fourth longest one that ever come through Alabama 3 years ago. Tore up a lot of stuff. But, yeah, we do get all that. So, I don't know. I would take it to have light winters. I don't know. I mean, I couldn't do the snow like that. But, anyway, that's enough for the weather update. Let's kind of hop into what we want to talk about, man. I mean, give us a little bit of a rundown. It's been, 2 years since you've been on? I think it's literally been 2 years. Or a year and a half.
LAL.
Yeah, LAL of 22, right?
I don't even know what year this is. This is 24, so 22.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
So literally a year and a half. I mean, y'all were kind of still in infancy at that point. Branded Bull was. So let's walk through. Give us the rundown, the highlight reel of what you got going on, and then I want to kind of guys stick through this because we're gonna really kind of dive in and dispel some things when it comes to marketing and websites and SEO and things because it's a hot topic in the industry right now. Guys are trying to figure out what they need to do to actually get new clients, get new leads, make sure they're putting their money where they should be putting it. And so I think we're going to be able to talk through some of that today, and it's going to be a really, really fun conversation. But first off, let's just kind of run through it, man. Give everybody an update on where Branded Bull is and kind of your story.
Hey, I appreciate that very much. In a nutshell, Lauren Teal and I, we started Branded Bull just about 2 years ago, right? And things have been very well. They've been doing great. And I'll tell you what, with your industry specifically, we have so many clients that are running businesses just like yours or Brian's or the Almonds and so forth. And these are people that are trying to grow their business and create a real career out of cutting grass and mowing lawns and building retaining walls and what have you. So these are people that are truly committed to this kind of lifestyle, and they have come to us. I mean, in the last year, we've helped over 100 different lawn care and landscaping businesses alone with websites, with branding, with graphic design work. Those are the things that we do, Jeremiah, and those are the ways that we help you and your followers and your peers, right?
Yeah.
Grow a real professional looking business that can be found by people who are looking for companies like yours to cut their lawns or do, install mulch or whatever it might be. So that's what we're doing, and it's going amazing. And we're having real conversations, again, with business owners who are just like, I want to grow. How do I do it? And so we talk about how we've taken our big business background and experience, 40 plus years between Lauren and myself, working on massive marketing campaigns and so forth, and doing those things now for the smaller businesses like yours, and again, a bunch of your followers in the industry and other industries, of course. So it's just awesome to, we did this for so long, we're in that environment, and then you start talking to people who have no idea how to do it. What is SEO? And you're like, dude, I can unload for 20 minutes on what SEO is. I don't want to bore you. You guys got to get back to work. But you know what I mean? It's like, here's some conversation, here's some tactics, here's some recommendations on how you can start thinking and operating like a big business and marketing yourself like a big business would. Even if you don't have $1 million budget, what should you do? How should you do it? Where should you invest your time, your money, your energy, your resources to get the best bang for your buck, so to speak? That's what we like to do. And those are the conversations that we're having left and right. I hope that answers the question in a long-winded manner.
Yeah, no, dude, that's awesome. 100% it does. I think that's a good gateway into what we want to get into today. It's conversations that we've had back and forth over the last couple of weeks, kind of talking through some stuff with our site and how we want to grow our brand and our community. And I think that a lot of guys are wanting to do the same thing right now, and that is just like you're saying, we want to grow, but we want to be portrayed as the business that we want to be, not the business that we are right now. And so I think that is key, as well as how do we do that but not look fake at the same time, like make it look realistic, make it look like this is a path that we're actually growing towards, not just some you don't want to put 20 trucks on the screen when you have one in a 6x12 trailer, because when they see that website and then you show up in that, they're gonna be like, this looks a little weird. But making something that is realistic and believable and something that you are actually trying to grow into. And so you guys talk about you had big business backgrounds in the marketing and things. Have you seen coming into this realm, growing smaller businesses, working in the lawn and landscape industry, the hardscape industry, is it a lot of your same principles that you're doing to those big companies? You're just simplifying them and bringing them down, to a smaller level. What does that look like as far as your expertise? How is that translated over into working with smaller businesses?
Yeah, great question. It really is the same tactics, the same philosophies, ideas, or whatever you want to call it, executed at a smaller scale. So when you think of a big business, you think of, I'm going to say Apple, right? Apple is very well known, right? You understand they're a premium provider of technology, let's just say, and you see their logo, you know immediately who it is, and they look professional, they operate professional, and you can take that with any big business, whether it's Ferrari, Microsoft, it doesn't matter. You get the idea. So how do we take those same ideas, principles, tactics, and then scale them down to a small business? Because the only difference outside of number of employees, revenue numbers, a couple of other things, point is a small business and a big business need to operate the same way in terms of how they think, because that's how they go from small to big. So professional branding. What does my logo look like? Is it actually a logo that meets basic design standards? Is it a color scheme that stands out? Does my trailer look the same as my truck? That looks the same as my website? That looks the same as my shirts? That looks the same as my hats? Billboard? Does everything look cohesive? Because I'll tell you what, I guarantee you, if you see a McDonald's sign, you know immediately from the colors, the logo, the language, it's all going to build off of one another, right? And that's a brand that has been built over, of course, a very long time, but that's what they're doing. That's the way they're thinking. And what we do through our conversations is instill that same, idea and educate people. Think about what McDonald's is doing and how can you do that? Certainly on a smaller scale. So let's look at your logo. Let's look at your t-shirts, look at your website, your vehicle wrap, your business listing, all these different things, right? and say, are you doing what you need to do to get from where you are to where you want to get to? Because if you're not doing these what we would consider very basic and simple things, just based on our experience and background, well, you're sending out a disjointed message. And that's going to hurt the credibility of your business in the professional operation you're trying to run, because you wouldn't see that from any big business. So you don't want to see it with your small business. So our goal, again, is to create that consistency, teach people these basic concepts, and then let them ultimately choose, where do you want to invest your money? What is your dream? What is your vision? Is that what you're trying to get to? Well, these are the things that you need to consider, again, investing into to create that perception, to create that image, and then, of course, broadcast that in the market that you're serving.
For sure.
So that's how we work with your peers and so many others in the industry.
This is like the tip of the iceberg for this conversation of marketing versus branding, like gathering leads versus like creating a brand. And I feel like I kind of want to let's hop into this a little bit, if you don't mind, because where do guys go when you're in the beginning stages of business, years 1, 2, 3? Like, is it you got to be gathering leads, you got to get work in the door, but like, what would you say? How important is it to be like branding during that time as well? Because I've said it, I've made it public, like in 5 years, I want our company to be the landscape company that comes to mind when you think of our city. And like that, to me, and I don't know anything, you can tell me if I'm wrong, but to me, that is branding. I have to do a better job branding our company. Like anything that they see is always, it's uniform, it's the same. And this is, when you think about a company that is huge, like you think about Apple, what is it? It's an apple with a bite taken out of it. At least that's the way it looks to me. Like whenever you see that, you know what it is. Like it's simple. When you see, like, as Branded Bull grows, you see your logo with the your logo on the other patch on your hat, and it's like, that's Branded Bull. Like anything you see, it's what's on your shirt, whatever it is, that is you. And so one thing that I've noticed is, like, you look at big companies, like you're saying, McDonald's, Carhartts, Under Armour's, Nikes, whatever it is, they're all the same across the board. Everything looks the same. Everything is very uniform. And I feel like guys get too spread out. Like they'll get, and I'm guilty of this myself, they'll get one person to make hats here and another person to make shirts here, and then we'll throw some magnets on the truck, then one's truck is green, one truck's red, or one truck's brown. And it's like, how do you create a brand with that? Like, I feel like you're swimming upstream there. You're not going to get very far. And talk on that a little bit. Like, what is the importance of branding versus marketing in those early years of, like, just how do you do it, and where should you shift your focus early on?
Yeah, great questions. You're so right. So branding in a nutshell is the perception that someone has of your business. So there's a lot that goes into branding, but immediately let's use Ferrari because it's well known. What do you immediately think of, Jeremiah, when I mention Ferrari? What comes to your mind?
High class red sports car.
There you go. And how long have they worked on that brand image? You know that they sell a very luxurious, fast, powerful status, item, right? Worth lots of money. And that's what they've created. That's the perception in your mind of their business. Now, if you thought, Jeremiah, of slow cars, cheap quality, and whatever else, clearly their branding would be completely off, and they would need to go back to the drawing board. So you have to take that same idea and apply it to your business. What do you want people to think of when they hear Growing Green Landscapes or whoever's name, insert name here? And it's not what you think, it's what they think. So you need to connect those dots and figure out, what do I need to do to create the perception in the marketplace for those who I'm trying to serve? And that could be everything from your image, which is your logo, color scheme, fonts, and so forth, right? But also, how do you pick up the phone? Hey guys, thanks for calling. Or hello, Mr. Whoever, Jeremiah with, hey, how can I help you today? If you want to be professional, and not just, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but the weekend warrior who might be 16 is like, hey, this is a hobby, making some extra bucks. How do you answer the phone? What is the way you send an email? Yeah. Those are the things, and those, again, scratching the surface, those are the things that reinforce the brand that you're trying to create in the minds of others. So branding goes beyond just these few things we're talking about. It's every single aspect of your business. Is it helping people think of your business in a certain way, or is it not? From there, it's once you've established in your mind what you want your brand to represent or how you want it to be considered or thought of, marketing is the ability to go tell that story. Where do I want to tell that story? How do I connect with the people looking for my business, looking for a brand like mine? And we can dive into that. But ultimately, that's marketing. Advertising is the next piece of it. How do I go then broadcast that message to the exact person I want to receive it? So that might be Facebook for you. That might be Google ads. It might be, postcards, it might be something else, right? Point is, I know the story. Now I need to go push that story into the minds of the people that I want to do business with. That's the difference between branding, marketing, and then advertising. After that, we call it customer service, right? What do you do to actually take care of your customers? That's the next piece of the puzzle. So very quickly, those are 4 distinct pieces of how to run a business and how to attract the right customers to help you grow.
I think all of that is amazing. Let's add one more to the beginning from the business owner point of view that it doesn't come to your mind, obviously. You know what I'm about to say, but it's not the forefront of what you do every day. The other thing you need to add in there and pair with all of that is you have to create your target customer. Like you have to find what customer you want to serve, because that is how you create your message to them. That's how you create your brand for them. Like your brand is going to look different for someone who lives in a $800,000 house that drives a Ferrari and a Rolls Royce versus someone who lives in a $150,000 house who's driving a Honda Civic. And it's like, there's a big gap there. And so you have to find that and say, which one do we want to be? How do we want to target commercial? Do we want to target residential? Do we want to target both? How do we find that balance of the website looking like we do it all? And so we've done, like y'all did a great job with our site of relaying the fact that we can do pretty much everything on a full landscape, because I've gotten multiple people reach out to me this year that said they saw the site and they said, we chose you because we saw the site and we saw that we thought you could do all of it and not have, like, you didn't just cut grass, you didn't just do landscape, you could encompass it all. And so like that is the brand that we're trying to create in our market. And so it's winning, it's working, it's succeeding. And so I think paired with all of that, your branding, your marketing, your advertising, at the forefront of it all, you have to decide what customer base you want to target to do the rest of that accurately.
Yeah, I think so. There's so many different philosophies. I think that, this goes back to what you were mentioning a few minutes ago before my long-winded rant. When you look at your business in the beginning, right? Some people might say, hey, pick your target market and that's it. Stick to it.
Yeah.
Others might say, hey, service people, just get customers, grow the business, and eventually cut the fat, right? So there's 2 different philosophies right there. There's plenty more. But I think when it comes to people that are listening that are, let's just say, newer to the industry, you really have to kind of figure out what you're most comfortable with. What can you afford to do? Is it, hey, I'm going after, let's just say, high-end hardscaping customers, and that's it. But you have no clients, you have no history. Well, probably good luck because you have no credibility. So you might have to do whatever you need to do to get to where you eventually do get to that point in 3, 4, 5 years, maybe sooner. Doesn't matter. Point is, you work towards getting to where you ultimately want to end up. So there's a great book. It's called The Pumpkin Plan. It goes into it. I suggest everybody read it. And that's all about trimming the fat and just focusing until eventually you just focus on that one thing that you really want to do and attract in terms of customers and work. So I think ultimately my point, when it comes to people listening, if you're trying to figure out how to start, where does branding come into play? Arguably, I'm going to sit here and say, hey, I think branding is one of the most important things that you can do. Now, is that more important than spending money on just getting clients? Possibly not, depending on what your short-term, long-term goals are. If you got no clients, well, then you might want to advertise, not brand. Now, if you have a steady stream of income and you're like, all right, I've established some customers, I'm growing the business, now I need to take it to the next level, that's where you might say, yup, branding is going to get you there. Now, arguably, you could then say, you know what, I'm just going to go into advertising. I'm going to go get 100 more customers and just continue to grow. Absolutely, you could do that. But here's the thing. At some point, At some point, whether it's in the beginning, in the middle, or at the end, you're going to want to consider branding as a very big project, as an investment into your business, because
and that's what it is. That's what it like. You're not going to see an immediate return on that brand, like on that process. I don't believe it's just going to help your name grow.
Because branding is not a dial that you turn on. Branding is, okay, I've elevated the overall image. Now I have to go push that message out.
Yeah.
Google advertising is what you can turn on. Picking up the phone is what you can turn on. Branding is just not on off. You create a concept, you create a perception, you create this vision, this image, and then you start putting it into the marketplace. And that takes time as well. And some people might see it immediately. Some people might not see it for a season or two, depending on which advertising tactics you're using and so forth. Point is, if you're trying to become that Ferrari, you have to determine where in that process, in the timeline, in your business, where do you go from, hey, I'm kind of the startup, to, hey, I'm on my way, and now I'm going to establish a credible looking business that differentiates itself and stands out from the competition. And now I'm on that path towards becoming, again, in this instance, Ferrari, where nobody else is like me, and now I have an image that I can push out there and feel proud of, and people see and get attracted to.
And if you are that hardscape guy, we got 2 minutes ago, that you're in the beginning, you want high-end patios, like that's what you want to do, but you don't have any work, you should still be branding and marketing and advertising to those high-end customers like that. You have created your target customer. Whether that's going to be what you get right off the bat or not, that's okay. You grow and you work through that process, but you have created, this is the customer that we want, and so this is what we're going to look like we do. And then that's going to help you grow into that.
And I'll tell you this too. I 100% agree with you, Jeremiah. And here's the other piece of that. Imagine if you have, let's say you're trying to find, those high-end hardscaping clients, right? And they're going to look for someone that's established, professional, looks the part, right? And you don't have the history. Well, I'll tell you what, if you look like you made your logo in 20 minutes and you have no t-shirts that look, you don't have a logo, you don't have anything that looks remotely
your branding sucks.
You think you're
like at the end of the day,
you think you're going to get that the customer?
Yeah.
I mean, good luck. They're going to go to the next company. So it's finding that balance, because yes, you are right. You might not have any of those customers, but if you look the part, it's only a matter of time until someone does find you and they say, this person looks like the company that can service us.
Yeah.
And whether you have that history or not, I mean, that's sales. You might need to be like, hey, we can do it. Don't worry. We got you covered. Point is, you also have to look the part in order to attract those customers. So there's a lot of balance there, and again, different philosophies, but you get the idea, hopefully.
Yeah, you got to pass the eye test. I mean, that's what people are going to look at it for. Like, people will get off your website faster than you know what happened if you don't, like, if you look like you have no clue what you're doing and you have done it for 30 minutes. Like, even if you have done it for 30 minutes, don't steal people's stuff. Don't steal people's stuff. But and we'll get into this when we talk building websites, but like, you might reach out to a buddy of yours or somebody in another state and be like, hey man, I saw you posted this cool project. We're trying to get into this kind of work. Do you mind if we use that picture on our site? Like, obviously get permission before you do something like that. But I'm sure, Adam, we can talk about that. You got stock images and stuff you can use. But it's just like, don't go throw up some ratty job that you did that you learned. It was good for you. Like, you learned the process. You learned something from the job. But that's not what you want to be showing off. And our buddy John Seegers with Signature Landscapes out in Illinois, I think he is, he was talking last year, like, he did so much work, like, he did a lot of filler work, but he never showed it because that's not what he wanted to do. Like, he was doing little patios, little mulching jobs. Like, that's not what he wants to sell, though. Like, you got to have that work to stay busy and fill in the gaps. If you're doing a 3-week install and you're waiting on material, like, you need little 1 to 2 day jobs. But that's not what he advertises at all. Like, that stuff doesn't exist on his site, on his Instagram. Nowhere you're going to see that stuff. So just think about that as you go through the year, and the process of this is like, whatever you're putting on your socials, whatever you're putting on your website, whatever you're putting out there on your Google business page, like, people are going to see that stuff eventually. And so if it's some $20 mulch job that you did and it's like, that was a good job to cash flow and get you grow, that's good, but don't show it to the customer when you're trying to land bigger jobs. I don't know, man. I think that's good. You got anything else you want to add before we kind of transition into the website role?
No, I think you're spot on. I think, like you said, passing the eye test, put out content that is going to attract the customer that you're after. And like you said, you can do a bunch of odd jobs and, low ticket item jobs, whatever you want to call it. At the end of the day, though, if you put that message out, that's the customer you're going to attract. So you need to put out the image and the type of messaging that resonates with the type of client you're trying to get. And ultimately, that's going to be what pays off, because you will get that customer at some point. And then from there, you can use that and repurpose that content to attract more of the similar type of customer. So, you got to do, again, whatever you need to do to pay the bills. But ultimately, when it comes to branding, marketing, advertising, you got to put out the right message to the right customer. And that's basic marketing 101.
Well, we're talking about putting out the right message. Let's hop into websites. I feel like that is where y'all have grown the most, at least from the outside looking in. I mean, y'all do. I know you do a lot of graphic design work and logos and things, but I feel like you've been known for the last couple of years of like building really high class quality websites. And so I want to hop into that a little bit. Let's walk through the whole website journey process. This is where I was talking about, I really want to dive in and talk about what is necessary when it comes to building a site and a site that performs very well, because you said that earlier, like you can have a really good website, but if no one can see it, what good does it do? Like that does no good to anyone. And so I want to kind of walk through that of what are some things that we should be doing once the site's made to be able to make sure that it ranks well, and when we're doing our job the same way that you are doing your job on the back end building the site. Like, let's just walk through the website process, man. What does that look like as far as from day one? Like, when should we be looking at getting a website? How should we look at having it done? And then we'll just kind of go from there.
Yeah. So here's the thing, right? When we talk about people finding your business, what is and this is an obvious, hopefully kind of rhetorical question, Jeremiah, but where's the first place you go to figure out a company that can do something that you want them to do, whether it's buying a product or finding a service? Where do you go?
Yeah, it's Google. It's not even a question.
Exactly. Right. So in order for someone to find you, two things. One, you have to be able to be found. And two, you want to make sure that first impression is a positive first impression, because it's a lasting impression. Because if you don't have the right look, the right image, the right logo, standoutedness, whatever term you want to use, if you don't attract the right person and make it look like you're the job or a company for the job, well, they're going to the next person, right? So they're going to go back to Google and then search the same thing, click on the next link, and go from there. So you want to have a very professional looking business first and foremost, because if you do get found and you don't, well, arguably you could say getting found doesn't help you then either. So if you look professional and then you have a professional web presence, this is the both pieces of the puzzle. People can now find you, and your website serves as a first point of contact. Yes, your logo will be the first thing that they see, right? Or your trailer. However, where are they going to go after that? They're going to go to your website. We all do it. And that's why it's extremely important to have an online presence. Now, you can say Google business listing, duh. You could say Instagram profile, duh. You can say Facebook, duh. These are all great things to have for your business, to have an online presence to help your credibility and your ability to get found. But here's the thing. Everybody's got a Facebook. Everybody's got an Instagram. And so everybody can do this. The difference between a quote unquote, let's say weekend warrior in an amateur operation versus a professional operation when it comes to the online presence world is what? A website. You're going to the damn website. You're going to learn about the services, the pricing, the packages, pictures, reviews, contact, so forth and so forth. You can't put all that on Facebook. You can't put it all on Instagram. You have to put it all somewhere. The website serves as that final destination for people to get answers to their pressing questions. So we say you'd have to have a website in this day and age. It's non-negotiable. If you're trying to run a serious operation and generate visibility, credibility, leads, you have to do it. When you can do it, that's up for you to decide. I will sit here all day and say you need to do it immediately. But I can also sit here all day and say you need to invest into branding immediately. But that's from my perspective, because we understand the power of what it can do. You ultimately need to determine as a listener trying to grow the business, where does it actually fit into the budget, the timeline, the priority list, and so forth. So when we work with clients, we build a website because it's amazing marketing tool to build a website and have it be live on the internet, right? And then you can slap it on the side of your truck, your business cards, put on your social media accounts, and so forth, right? So we build the website. That establishes the credibility. That gives you the professional look online. It helps you get found on Google and so forth, right? So now you can start generating leads and converting people. But after that, that's like letting the ship sail. In certain instances, we build the ship, we let the ship sail. And that way, that might work, that tactic, that strategy may work. And it does work for many people, depending on the market, depending on the competition. Are you in Chicago versus, BFE, where there's not a lot of competition? Because what you do in Chicago is going to be significantly different because you have 1 million people competing for eyeballs. So good luck. That's where there's big businesses spending millions of dollars on advertising, right? Point is, those are just a few factors, and there's many more. Are people able to then find that ship? Are people able to find your website? And if yes, cool. Use your money elsewhere. Invest those dollars into advertising or branding or paying your employees more, whatever you choose to be the next priority. Now, if they can't find your website, that's SEO. That's where you can always go further down that rabbit hole, Jeremiah. You can always invest more into SEO. And SEO is a lot of different things. It's not just launch the website, put in some keywords. That's one piece of it. Absolutely. What we call on-site SEO, that's huge because you want the right keywords. You want it to be optimized for mobile and desktop. You want it to load fast. These are all things that affect your SEO score. However, there's a lot of stuff, what is called off-site SEO, that you need to consider as well. That's where you need to consider things like, and we'll dive into each of these. I know I'm rambling, but
no, this is good. This is
right.
This is the answer that I'm searching for, that I think guys want to hear, because this is the thing that, like, we're not educated on this. This is not our expertise. We go cut grass, we lay mulch, we do pavers. Like, that is, and that's why I wanted to do this show, because we all know the importance of getting a website, but then what do we do if it's not performing? Like, where do we go from there? We paid $3,000 for a website. Yep. What happens if it's not, like, we need to get customers with it? So I love this conversation. Let's keep going and dive into the SEO side of things. Hey guys, it's Jeremiah here, and I want to tell you about my friends over at Tri-Green Equipment. If you own a green industry business anywhere from Central Alabama all the way up through Middle Tennessee, you have to hear about Tri-Green. No matter where you're at in your green industry journey of entrepreneurship, you need the right support team providing creative solutions that work just as hard as you do. And I'll be honest, for me, that's the team at Tri-Green. They have helped me so many times in so many binds. When I've had a mower go down and we were in the middle of spring rush, or it's 100 degrees out in the middle of summer and we need to keep moving, we couldn't get behind, they have an awesome never stop program that allows you to get a loaner when your mower goes down if it's going to take them more than 24 hours to fix that thing. So I tell you what, Tri-Green is awesome. There's so much more that we can share about that we don't have time for at the moment, but I want you to go over to trigreen.com, check them out, look for a dealer near you. Like I said, anywhere from Central Alabama all the way up through Middle Tennessee, they're going to help you with small handheld equipment all the way up to skid steers, mini skid steers, and everything in between. So check out Tri-Green Equipment. Could not recommend them more. Let's hop back into the show.
Yeah. So there's a few different things I'll try to cover at a high level without boring you with all the exact details. But you launch the ship might be beautiful, but like you said, if nobody can find it, well, then you kind of have a useless website. So there's constant changes in market trends. So what are the keywords that people are searching for? And let's say there's certain keywords that people are searching for that are what we call long tail keywords. So there might be certain keywords or sentences essentially that you might be able to use to capture a very specific part of the market that's searching for this particular phrase that is not really indexed on a lot of other websites. So looking at keywords and keyword trends and changes, that's something that people need to be considering. And it's, as a non-expert, it's kind of like, yeah, there's tools you can use, but good luck. I mean, this is the thing, like you said, you cut grass. So this is where we come into play as SEO experts and say, we're going to track these different keywords, see what's trending, see what's changing, and help and implement those content changes on the website. There's also differences in just how the algorithm works. I mean, it can be every week, every month. It just to do with the algorithm. And you want to make sure that your site reacts to those changes. So there's staying on top of different changes within the algorithm. There's things called backlinks. And this is one of the most important pieces. A backlink. What is a backlink? A backlink is your website being listed on another website. And if you are on more websites, Google looks at those and says, well, you must be some sort of credible source if these other websites are linking to you, because nobody's going to link to spammy websites. Now, take that with a caveat of yes, people do that. And yes, it's not good practice. Google will eventually find you, catch up, and take everything down. Point is, if you're on, let's say, your local Chamber of Commerce website, you're on your local, I don't know, Builders Guild or, community pages or whatever it might be.
Networking groups,
or even
if you're
large
in a BNI or something like that, anything like that.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Any of these larger organizations that help businesses like yours, if you're listed on their website, again, that helps. Backlinks are extremely important and extremely powerful when it comes to your website's ability to get ranked. So the more websites you're on and the higher the quality of those websites, right? It's a compound effect. The better you're going to perform, your website specifically. So backlinks is massive. Local citations or listings. So there's things like Google My Business, Apple Maps, Yelp, and so forth. All of these need to be up to date. They need the right information because on the back end, Google looks at these things and says, is the listing over here the same as the one over here? If yes, awesome. If not, well, that's weird. Maybe we'll give it a mid-grade score, right? So you need to start doing all of these things to make sure that your website is performing as best as possible when it comes to SEO. And there's definitely more things that I'm not covering, but the point is, these are just some of the things that you can consider. Making sure your social media accounts have your website listed. Making sure that you're talking to those other networking groups or local associations and getting your name on their page, and not just your name, but your actual website linked, right? These are some of the things that you can start to do if you haven't done that will help. And a lot of it too is the keyword analysis, because that's the ever-changing trends and search terms that people are using that truly impact your ability to get found as well. So I know that's a lot, so I'll pause there. I'm sure you got some questions, but those are just a few different things that people can consider when it comes to SEO.
No, that's super good. I've literally never, I'm a Google Maps guy. Like I don't ever use Apple Maps. I'm always a Google guy. I just got on my Apple Maps. My website, if I search Growing Green Landscape, it literally doesn't show up. I've never even thought about doing it on Apple Maps. Like that, you just said that in passing. I was like, you know what? I've never even looked at that. So yeah, that's a firsthand example. I mean, of being in the right places.
If your goal is to find as many people as possible, Google's the dominant search engine, right? Of course, we get that. But what's next?
Yeah.
I mean, YouTube is the second, if not the first nowadays, and you might not need to be on YouTube, but Facebook, absolutely. Instagram, Google Maps, Apple Maps, Yelp. The more places you can be found, the higher the probability of you being found. So these are just what we would consider low-hanging fruit. Go set up a profile and make sure you use it. Post pictures, post updates, seasonal specials, whatever it might be. And these are, again, what do you do versus what a big business does? A big business does all of these things. Now, they have more fingers, they have more hands, they have more people, but it's not like they got there by not doing these things. So these are the things that you can consider to do. And at the end of the day, if you get a few leads because people can find you on Apple Maps, isn't it worth the 5 minutes of your time to set it up?
Yeah.
Arguably, yes.
Yeah.
You get the idea.
100%. So like the Google My Business, your business listing, I know that thing's changed. Google Business Profile, that's changed over the last couple of years. What does that look like? Like you always hear people say, update your profile. Like, what does that actually look like in the day-to-day? How do you have any advice on how often you should update it? Are you putting text on there? Are you putting pictures? Are you putting what are you putting on that profile? And what is it doing? Is Google reading that and saying, oh, since you updated, we're going to push you to the top? Like, what does that actually involve?
Great question. Your Google business profile. This is one of the most common questions we get because we get a website. It's an investment. It's not like it's $100, right? Your Google business profile or business listing, as you said, it's what it's now called, Google business listing. It's a free service.
Yeah.
Provided by the number one search engine on the planet. You better go take advantage of it, right? Because when you go to Google, and people can hopefully picture this in their mind, right? You go to Google and on the left-hand side, you see a bunch of website links, right? But on the right-hand side, you might see that local listing section. And that might be a few different businesses that have, 5-star reviews and it says they're open now and you can see their pictures and what have you. That's Google business listing. We actually just had a person reach out last night and say, hey, I don't have a profile. Can you help? Well, It's silly. We actually don't set them up anymore. This is something that can take you 5 minutes to do. Again,
it's
5 minutes,
easy.
and it's going to get you exactly 5 minutes of your time will get you listed on Google and Google Maps. So here's what you do. You go and you fill out your profile, right? You add pictures, you add your hours, you add the descriptions, the keywords, the services that you're offering, right? You get it verified, boom, within a few days, you're now live on Google, even without a website, Jeremiah. And this is the most, I mean, Facebook is great, Instagram is great, but like if you're telling me, hey, I have nothing, this is the first thing you should do in terms of getting your marketing going. Yeah. Go fill out this profile in 5 minutes, get verified, you're good to go. Then build on top of it, which is to your question. What do you do afterwards? Well, it's very simple. What do you do on Facebook or any other social media account? You post pictures, you post updates, you make sure your content is always relevant, fresh, and accurate. So are you closed on Easter? When's the last project you completed? Are you offering, again, those seasonal specials? Go put that stuff on your business profile, because Google, like anybody, it works the same exact way. They like people that make content routinely, and they like fresh content because then it's not stale, right? Nobody likes old content. So they're going to rank businesses that post pictures and status updates and so forth higher than those that don't. Now, that doesn't mean you post a picture and now you're number one. You're checking that box is what I should say.
Yeah.
So when Google, the overlords look at the 10, well, way more than 10, but you get the idea, 10 things that will help you rank higher, you now checked off that box and you gave fresh content to the machine. So just like Facebook, just like Instagram, you post there, post on Google. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
It only takes a few extra minutes and it's going to help you rank higher.
Yeah, that's good. I've never really even thought about that. Like, what is the actual process? So you're saying just use it almost like another social media page. Like when you upload your Facebook post, like go do the same thing on Google. Like keep it up to date, keep it accurate. And it makes sense because the algorithm, you put fresh stuff, it's going to bring more people to Google. People are going to stay on Google longer. They're going to like that. They're going to promote you more. Like it's just at the end of the day.
100%. And here's the biggest difference between, I guess you could technically do this on Facebook, but where do you typically go and leave a review? It's on Google Business. Google. Exactly. So once you have a profile set up, and you know this, Jeremiah, you can start collecting reviews. And you should, because those 10 boxes, even though there's more, those 10 boxes, you start checking off that as well. How many reviews do you have? 0 versus 10? Which one do you think I'm going to look at more seriously as a potential customer? Someone that has nothing, it's inactive, essentially, or I see you got 10 5-star reviews, you post pictures, and people love your work. I'm just convinced it's called peer pressure. It's called social proofing. I'm going to go trust my peers. And even if that company that has the 10 isn't the perfect fit versus the one has 0, I might just say, you know what? I'll call them because people love them. And that's how we all operate. So if you're not doing it, you're just missing out. You're losing customers, you're losing money, and you're just not being found. And it's as simple as that. So go get those reviews. Constantly get reviews. And we always say your Instagram is constantly updated. It's not like you're going to just stop working on your Instagram tomorrow or your Facebook tomorrow, or at least you shouldn't. Then don't do that to your business profile. It is a marketing tool that will live indefinitely until you either, I don't know, sell your business or close shop or whatever you decide to do. But you need to do it just like you update your Facebook or your Instagram. You have to do it and do it often. Doesn't need to be every day, but once a week. That's going to be very impactful.
That's good. Yeah, and I would say that you probably back this statement up, even though you build websites for a living. Like, if you have no website, you have no presence, you're getting started. Maybe you've been started, but you don't have any presence. You've just been working and referrals, word of mouth, things like that. Like, if you don't have the money to put into a website, go get you a business profile and at least start using that to its fullest potential. Like, do that step one. And you can probably honestly go pretty far with that. Like, now you're going to eventually need a place to send people to, like you're saying, tell the full story, include everything that you do. But I think that number one, I think that might be, would that be what you come back to, is like, that might be your number one first step?
It's the first thing. Again, a website is beautiful. It's amazing, but it's an investment. It's like buying a lawnmower. This isn't something you just make a decision in 7 seconds or less, but a Google business profile, it's $0. So And it's going to create a massive impact for your ability to be found. Yes, a website is amazing and it's going to take your credibility to the next level and so forth. But like bare minimum, go sign up, go fill out a profile. It's the first thing we ask people. Hey, like what does your online presence include? So when people reach out to us, Jeremiah, here's what we do very quickly. We ask basic questions. There's a philosophy that we use. When you go to the doctor, you don't say, yes, you have a cold, here's some medication. That's a bad doctor. What we say, and the doctor should ask you is, what are your symptoms? What are you struggling with? What do you want to feel like? And then from there, kind of diagnose, as we call it, and prescribe the right solution. We do the same thing. You come to us with a website saying, hey, I want a website. Cool. Let's talk about your website. But let's start with the basics. Do you have a profile on Facebook? Do you have a Google business profile? Do you have an Instagram? What else do you do from a marketing standpoint? And where does the website fit into it? Because that's the difference between us selling you a website and us being a partner who understands what it means to look and feel like a big business. And so we, as the experts and the partners, people helping people, we know what you should be doing. And some of these things are what, again, we call low-hanging fruit. So when they come to us and like, hey, I want a website. Okay, cool. How's your Google business profile? I don't have one. What's that? Hold on. We'll get to the website. But the one takeaway after this call is go get your business profile set up. Then, and during that conversation, we then talk about the website. Here's another quick tidbit. Anybody listening? Let's say you're going to invest into a website. Jeremiah, this is an obvious, hopefully rhetorical question, right? But play with me here. Hey, you want a website for your business. How do you get to your website? Where do you go, Jeremiah? What do you type in? How do you do that? How do you get to a website?
Like, how do I find a website?
Yeah, if you go to your browser, what do you type in to get to your website? You type in a domain, a URL.
Yeah.
Right? And my question probably was terrible, but you understand what I'm
for sure.
Getting
I see where you're going.
You type this thing in. Here's something every time we talk to somebody, almost. I don't have a domain. What is a domain?
Yeah.
Okay, well, here's an idea. Here's a takeaway. After this call, anybody listening, go to GoDaddy or Squarespace or whoever, I don't care, we have no affiliation, go register your domain. Because if you invest into a website, whether it's in 5 minutes or 5 years, you want your domain. And that might be yourbusinessname.com. Always use a .com. Just long story short, it's the most credible. Go register it. It takes 2 minutes. Just like setting up a business profile takes 2 minutes. Now, you might not use that URL or that domain immediately to see the benefits, but guess what? If somebody else gets it, you really want to stick it to your competition, go search all the competition in your area, go to Squarespace, look them all up, and buy their domains.
I knew it was coming.
That's the dick move. But like, hey, dog eat dog world, you don't want that happening to you, right?
Yeah.
So here's the takeaway. Go register it. It takes 2 minutes. Anybody can do it in this day and age. It's like $15 a year. Sit on it and use the domain whenever you choose to invest in a website.
Don't buy all their extra added insurance and crap. Just go buy the domain.
Just get the domain, $15. I think it's like 12
because they're going to upsell you. They're going to try to tell you need insurance and all this. Just go buy the domain, especially if you're not even using it.
100%. But here's the cool thing. Here's the difference, right, between, again, a professional operation and a smaller, I hate to say amateur operation, but just work with me on this one. When you work with any big business and you email them, you always see, let's just say it's Jeremiah at growinggreenlandscapes.com versus at gmail.com. And that minor difference in perception in the customer's mind is extremely important because it now makes you feel like you're working with a professional operation. It's just one more of those little pieces of the puzzle in terms of branding and marketing that can change or influence the perception of someone, of your business in someone's mind. So if you get that domain, Jeremiah, you can set up professional email. It's like $6 a month for a user. And you could have sales at or contact at or Keith at or whatever. Now, hey, you have a professional looking email with a professional domain, even if there's no website, it doesn't really matter. I mean, obviously you want one, but you get the idea. It's just one of those other levers you can pull to start operating like a big business and helping people think in their minds, you are a professional operation. You are the right fit for the job. So that's another takeaway. Like these in our world, low hanging fruit, simple, basic things. But that's why we're having this conversation, because we understand that it's not, you guys cut grass. You don't know what the hell a domain is.
Exactly.
There you go. There's your 60-second takeaway.
And if you're going to go buy your company name, like change the letters around a little bit. Like for me, like I have Growing Green Landscapes. I bought Growing Green Landscape, Growing Green Landscaping, like all of the things right around that, like that's going to potentially somebody else could use down the road. Like take all of that. anything that sounds like it, take it.
Yes. So very quickly, you mentioned, I forget your exact words, but in my mind, we like to say that, this is what I thought of, I should say, that the best defense is a strong offense.
Yeah. Because
here's the point. You still have to score in order to win.
Yeah.
So, the mantra of, strong defense is the best offense, blah, blah, blah. But you still got to put a point on the board. So you still need to score somehow, right? And if you're operating in an offensive manner, these are the things that big businesses do, right? They look at their business profile, they look at their social media, they look at their website, they look at their different advertising and marketing, and they start pulling these levers and investing into them so that obviously they can attract more customers. And from there, the real difference is understanding which of these platforms or which of these tools provides the biggest return. That's where you start getting into the nuance. So profiled online, website, postcards, billboards, digital advertising, these are all different things that you all have access to. It's just a matter of which one is going to play offense and go get the customers that they're after. And that's for you to decide ultimately.
This is amazing. We're coming up on an hour. I don't want to hold you much longer, but I want to tie this whole conversation together with wrapping up the SEO talk and the website. So we have our website made. We have it going. It's not performing. We're in a market where we need to spend more money. So like there's your trial period of 3 months, whatever. You can talk to this in a second here when you get going. But however long you need to give it organically to let it embed into the system and see if it works. Well, then you get to that point and you're like, okay, look, we're not getting anything from it. I'm getting 1 or 2 leads a month. Like I paid $3,000. That's not going to cut it. Like we get to that point. Like it's part of it. It's part of life. You got to have some return on your investment. So that happens, and you realize you're in a market where you're going to need some more work. What is the next step from there as far as SEO packages? And where I'm going with this is, what should you be prepared for when you go to get a website built ahead of time? You might pay your upfront cost of $2,000, $3,000, $5,000, whatever the cost is, however in depth you get with your website. That doesn't really matter. But afterwards, are we going to need to, or what are the potential things we're going to need to pair with that moving forward? Just like it's just an operating cost of business, like. You're gonna need to monitor SEO because like guys, you usually don't have time for that. I don't have time for that. I'm out selling work and installing work. That's not my expertise. So I've realized like that's not my job. I can't be doing that. I can't be focused on that because one, it's gonna fall to the bottom of my list of things to do. As it falls, I'm not gonna do it well, and so I'm gonna spend money and it's not gonna get no return on it. So what do we need to pair if we do run in that situation? Like, hey, this isn't working. What should we be prepared for as far as like afterwards working SEO down the road?
Yeah, great question. So again, when we launch websites specifically under our name, here's what we do. We like to launch with what we consider the foundational package. These are the basics, right? The X's and O's of basic SEO efforts. Because we believe that, like many of our clients, when we build the ship and launch the ship, it's going to perform well. And it does. And you might be number one on Google. So take that money and again, invest it elsewhere. Now, if that's not you and it's not performing the way you want, right? That's because, well, again, a lot of different factors, but ultimately we need to invest into trying to compete from an SEO perspective so your website can be found. So a lot of companies will bake this into your contract immediately. And next thing you know, you're paying $500 a month and you might not even need it. Versus we like to consider these kind of supplemental packages. If you are doing well, again, don't invest into it unless you really want to. And there's pros to doing that. But if you're not performing well, then let's add on, right? And then how far down that rabbit hole do you want to go? And for us, Jeremiah, we offer different packages. Usually it's in 3s for our SEO packages. And that is, again, depending on the budget, what you're comfortable with and what your goals are, which one of these packages makes the most sense. And what people need to realize, it's not like you're paying $50 to rank number one. It's just not feasible. Yeah. Good luck, because if that was the case, everybody would be doing it and we would be everybody would not perform anyway, right?
It would cost. Well, the top performers would be paying $100,000, and no one else would ever get close. Like if it was a
Exactly.
strictly money game, like.
Exactly. So and that's a perfect point, is that it doesn't necessarily mean who's spending the most that get the best result. Now, in the world of advertising, that's going to be
Correct.
most cases who is spending the most, right? SEO doesn't work like that. So what we want to do is we work with our clients to understand kind of what their goals are and what makes the most sense. What is the best investment? What's going to produce the best ROI, not just the most expensive for us to make the most money. That's not how we operate. So that's what we would look at with any client. Let's see how it performs for a season. Let's see what's going on. And if it's just not generating the leads, and we look at the SEO and it's like, hey man, you're on the second page. We got to get you the first page, top 5. Here's what we need to do in order to get that to happen. And upfront, that can be several $100s at a minimum, up to thousands. But here's the difference. It's not like we're like, hey, it's $500 and like take it or leave it. It's more like, this is the truth of the situation. If you want to be top 5, here's what you have to do. Sorry, that's just us being upfront and honest. There's nothing we can do to say, oh yeah, we'll just get you at number 1 for $100. Yeah. You just can't do it. You can't beat the system, right? And so that's where working with you even, right? We're going to be talking more about SEO and making sure that your website ranks as high as possible. And we'll have that same conversation with you coming up very soon, right? Because we know you want to perform. You want to build that big business in your area and get found. And we're going to help. And that's the thing with SEO. If it doesn't look like the site's ranking well for all those different factors, then you have to invest into it. You can't have this idea that if you build it, they will come. You can build it, give it a season. And if they do come, great. If not, out of our hands. We need to go into the world of SEO and start doing some different things to help you rank higher. And that is how we work with every single client, essentially. I hope that answers your question and gives you the insight you're looking for.
Yeah, it does. I think that's my biggest thing is like, as I go through this process, it was just something that being totally honest and transparent, that I didn't really realize, like when I had a website built, because that's not the priority in my case. Like I want the website built. We need a good presence. I'm going to go sell the work, cut the grass. You know what I mean? So as I've gone through it and realized, like, because we started spending some money on Facebook and I was like, this isn't performing well at all. And then I'm like, well, the website, no fault of your own, it's not performing that well either. It's just, we got there's a lot of lawn care companies in our area. Like, it's just part of it. And so I'm like, well, what do we do? What is the next steps? And so as we've worked through it back end, I was like, hey, I want to kind of talk about this on air, because I think there's probably a lot of other guys who maybe could be in the situation of like, hey, whether it was Brandon Bull that built your website, you built your website, whoever built your website, like, if you're in that situation, like, man, I need to increase leads. We got to grow our brand. Like, we got to become number 1. We got to get in that map pack on Google, like, get up there. How do we do that? And so that comes down to, at the end of the day, like, you got to invest in SEO. I wanted to go into that a little bit more in depth, which I think we did pretty good job at today, for sure. But what is the SEO god? Like, where do you get an SEO report? Does that make sense? Like, can someone check their SEO? Like, can you get a report done?
Yeah, there's a couple different tools. Ahrefs, ahrefs.com is just one example. SEMrush, SEMrush.com. Those are kind of the two big platforms that you can go on. I believe you can do, one website, let's just say, one profile type thing, and get kind of a basic audit or report for your website and kind of what's going on with it. And then what we do, right, with our team is we use those tools to then go monitor, look at search terms, trends, and so forth, and then use that data in those reports, which we then provide to you, certainly as customers of ours.
Cool.
Of what's going on. Like, first of all, what are we doing, right? What is the tactics? And then number 2 is, what are the measurements and how is that changing over time? Because you want to invest your money into something that's going to perform and provide the results you're looking for. And so, Jeremiah, I completely agree that you, as cutting lawns and being a salesperson to some degree, your goal is to get leads and have those conversations. You need to just have the leads and those tools working for you as best as possible, so that you can get the phone to ring or the emails to come in, right? And your website should work exactly that way. You don't need to be the expert. Your partner should be the expert. And then you should just make sure things are going the way you want them to go, and kind of, squeezing the lemon for as much juice as possible. So that is a couple tools that people can use. Those are the big power players, let's just say, and where they can start. But after that, hey, honestly, good luck. You're probably going to need to take a SEO course and learn some things, which you should or could, or you need a partner, you need a professional partner. So I hope that answers the question.
Yeah. Is that really where you're going to be spending your time? Like, you're going to do it halfway. You're not going to do it right. You're going to still spend money. Like, got to be careful about that kind of stuff. So just think about that as you do get to this point. As we wrap up, coming up on an hour solid here, I appreciate your time today, Adam. Is this something that you can do? Say somebody else had their website built by another company, or they did it themselves. Can you get in there and y'all work on their SEO without having to redo the website potentially? Is that a service you offer?
Hey, great question. At this time, we do not offer standalone SEO services for other website providers or people that have built your other website. And here's very quickly my analogy. It's like purchasing a used car, Jeremiah. We don't know what's under the hood, and we're going to be responsible for the way the website ranks. And a lot of your ranking comes down to, how is the website built? Is it clean code? Are images optimized? Are there alt tags and various other things that we just say, you know what we need to do is take care of our clients before we do something like that. So certainly we've talked about offering standalone services, but we're like, you know what? We need to make sure the website's built the right way, have a beautiful new car, and then maintain that car for our clients. And this is just us, honestly, just trying to take care of the people that we work with already instead of just trying to add on more and more and more. That's the way we operate.
I love it, man. I appreciate the transparency with that. So with that being said, what can you offer? Where do you need to go? What do people need to do to kind of hear more about Brandon Bull, see if that you're a good fit for them to get their website up and going?
Hey, I love it. I appreciate you having me on. If anybody needs anything, we do websites, we do graphic design, and we do professional branding. Check us out, brandonbullinc.com. We're on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. We're posting some of the different work that we've done. But, reach out any way you want to. Schedule a call with us through our website. Very easy to do. Have conversations. Send us an email. Questions. We got answers. And if you want to work with us, we'd love to have you as part of the team. But ultimately, this is what we do. We stick to what we're really good at, and that's it. And so if we can help anybody listening with any of those conversations or those services and solutions, we'd love to talk to you guys.
That's awesome, man. Well, I appreciate your time. Guys, if you're interested in any of this, head over to Brandon Bull, talk with Adam and Lauren there. They've been great partners for us. They've helped us through our things where we're at a stump, we're at a crossroads, I'm where do I go here? We've got on the phone. You have a direct line of contact to talk with them and help them. They will help you through your situation. So that's what I appreciate the most out of their service and kind of helping us through this roadmap. We're at a crossroads right now. Where do we spend our money? Where do we put it? And so we're working through that as we speak right now, which is why I'm very, very appreciative for your friendship. So if y'all go over there, tell them you heard about them here on the show. Tell them you heard this podcast. You want to go check them out and see what you got. And I think it might save you some money there. I don't know, Adam, does it save him anything? I don't know. Put you on the spot.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
There you
Mention
go.
Your name for sure. We'll give you a nice little discount.
There you go, guys. So there is some benefit in it at the end. So I think if you listen to this show from start to finish, you got a tremendous value when it comes to online presence, websites, marketing, branding, all of the things in between there. Super, super appreciative of your time, Adam. And guys, if you've listened to it, go leave us a big 5-star rating and review because, like we said, ratings and reviews help. It helps us boost the show, helps us continue to bring more guests on like Adam and bring out the best content that we can. So, Adam, I super appreciate your time today, buddy.
Hey, thank you for having me on. Anytime. Love to be a part of it. Anything I can do to help, reach out, guys.
Awesome, man. Well, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the show. That's going to wrap this one up. So without any further ado, we're going to see you here on the next one.
Thanks for tuning in to the Growing Green podcast. It is an honor to have you listening, and we hope you receive valuable advice to help take your business to the next level. Don't forget to follow the podcast so you'll be notified when our next episode drops.